Good morning, everyone. Here's your Mormon news update for May 6th, 2025. Today is my birthday, and if you want to give me a present, which I'm sure you do, please go to the essay video I posted on Saturday entitled Rockford Files. Watch it and let me know if you think it would be valuable for me to share other essays that I've written about my Mormon story. When I first posted the video, somehow the comments got turned off. So if you've already seen the video but didn't have the chance to leave a comment, I fixed the problem and now you can go back and comment. I would honestly love to hear your thoughts. Now let's go to Facebook for a post from Radio Free Mormon that said, "Looks like the church has ordered Michelle Stone to take down her podcasts to avoid excommunication." Michelle Stone runs the YouTube channel and website 132 Problems. The description on her YouTube channel reads, "A deep dive into the murky waters of Mormon polygamy. We study the scriptural, theological, and historical case for or against polygamy and look at the historical and modern implications of the practice." Some have called Michelle Stone a polygamy denier because she is convinced that Joseph Smith never practiced polygamy and that it started with Brigham Young. Her videos have been discussed on Mormon Stories and Mormonism Live. She also recently appeared on Mormon Stories episode 1996. I will put the link in the show notes. I loved listening to her story. She's had a very interesting life, but I found it really hard to listen to her reasons why she thinks Joseph Smith did not practice polygamy. Now let's watch a small portion of the video she posted announcing her departure from YouTube.
Welcome to 132 Problems, Revisiting Mormon Polygamy. It is with a very deep and abiding sense of gratitude that I record what many of you will be surprised and perhaps disappointed to know will be my final episode. I have decided, as I look around at the various pressures and responsibilities and desires of my heart, I have decided to stop this podcast and I will also be taking the podcast down. There are some people who will be very thrilled to hear that, and I think there are more people who will be devastated to hear this. I feel a great sense of responsibility, a deep obligation to do my best to explain as much as I can and to encourage others to continue in this conversation. I will simply not be a visible part of this conversation for the foreseeable future. I have developed such deep love for the Book of Mormon, Joseph and Emma Smith, and for what is most important is the gospel of Jesus Christ. The Savior cares so much more about how we look at and treat and embrace one another rather than what side we fall on in any of these questions, any question about the gospel or about history or about any other topic. This has been a difficult couple of weeks for me as I've been navigating these different decision points and feeling like I didn't want to let anybody down and I didn't want anybody to be disappointed. It's been a challenge. Please know that I am being extremely prayerful and thoughtful about the decisions going forward. I won't be idle. My website will stay up for now, 132problems.org. That will be there for now, even though this channel will be taken down. All I can do is my best to follow what I believe the Lord is directing me, and knowing that I can't please everybody all the time. I love this gospel. I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, a church that I love, and all I can do is my best to follow. I wish that I had done it all perfectly. I wish I could go back and erase times that I made a mistake, missed a source, spoke a little was too polemic in my approach, any of those things. If people want to reach out to me, my email will remain up. It's 132problems@gmail.com. Everything is going to work together for the good of those who love and serve the Lord.
It is apparent from this video that she is a very devout member and cherishes her church membership. In the comment section of that video, Radio Free Mormon made the following remarks. "The church should not be doing this to you, Michelle. As much as we have locked horns, I would never think you should take down your podcasts. Evil breeds in darkness. Let me know if you need a good lawyer. All the best to you." I also think it's sad that Michelle is being censored, especially from a church that says to pray, get revelation, and do what is best for your life. Now let's go to KSL TV for this article that says a woman whose life changed overnight when she learned her husband was running a multi-million-dollar scheme is now sharing her journey with the world. Her ex-husband, Sean Merriman, was imprisoned for fraud. He had been running a $20 million Ponzi scheme. I thought I was the only one in the world, except for maybe Ruth Madoff, who had had this terrible public disaster happen, and I didn't really have anyone who'd been down that road to turn to, Merriman said. She said her husband had a double life. He appeared to be one way to me, to his family, to his friends, to the world, which was a hardworking, family-oriented, honest, good man, member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Merriman said. She's sharing her new life and lessons learned from her past with hundreds of thousands of viewers on TikTok. You can find her at Andrea.Merriman. Reflecting on her journey, she said, I don't think any of us do anything alone, so being able to talk about it and do TikTok has been a chance for me to kind of pay it back and hopefully pay it forward. On her page, she reveals even more details from that painful chapter in her life. The kicker of something equally as big to me, and as devastating and incredibly shocking to me, was the fact that the money and the crime wasn't all there was more. Merriman said it was infidelity. Through TikTok, her new approach is resonating with a wider audience. I speak to anyone that's ever had the thought to do something wrong because I am a living example of what can happen and how vast and unimaginable the fallout can be, Merriman said. I was not surprised at all when halfway through that article they mentioned that the man who is now in prison for fraud was a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Now we're going to go to Local 21 News out of Pennsylvania, where it says a Lancaster man is facing multiple charges after police say he burglarized a church while not wearing any clothing, according to Lancaster Township Police. Corey Calderwood, 34, was arrested on multiple charges including burglary, indecent exposure, possession of a controlled substance, and paraphernalia following an incident on April 29th. Police say that officers responded to the 1000 block of East King Street on reports of an active burglary around 11:36 a.m. Officials on scene located Calderwood, who was seen breaking into the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints while completely not clothed and under the influence of methamphetamine. Calderwood remains in Lancaster County Prison awaiting a May 19th preliminary hearing. Now we're going to go to some news about Crew Advisors that says Seth Merrill has been named Chief Investment Officer of Crew Advisors, a Salt Lake City-based wealth manager and multifamily office, effective May 5th, according to a news release. He will be responsible for leading investment activities at the firm, which has more than $2.5 billion in assets under management. Crew provides financial, estate, investment, risk, and philanthropic planning services for clients, including charitable foundations. Its philanthropic arm, Crew Foundation, also supports donor-advised funds and charitable trusts. And where was Seth Merrill before he became employed by Crew, you might ask? Merrill was a co-director of portfolio strategy at Ensign Peak Advisors, the investment arm of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, widely known as the Mormon Church. Ensign Peak had close to $56.3 billion in assets under management as of December 31st, according to a 13F Holdings report filed February 14th. The Mormon Church's investment portfolio had roughly $206 billion in assets, according to an analysis by the Widow's Mite, a research firm focused on the Salt Lake City-based church's finances. Ensign Peak and the church could not be reached immediately for more information. If I was Crew Advisors, I would be a little leery to hire someone, Seth Merrill, who'd previously worked for Ensign Peak. We all know they got fined for not properly reporting the amount of money that they had through 13F filings. Now let's go to the Ex-Mormon subreddit, where it says, the oddest thing a true believing Mormon has said to me. Okay, there are a lot of them. This one I find particularly funny. I left the church, came out gay, divorced my wife, and married a dude. My true believing Mormon sister said she loves me and still wants a relationship with me. Fantastic. She lives far away and I go visit her. In the morning, I take her out to breakfast. Of course, I order coffee. She asks, since when did you start breaking the rules? Seriously? I married a dude and coffee is what got your attention? Now every time I drink coffee at a restaurant, I think of her and I chuckle inside. To which someone replied, when I left the church, my mom in despair said, now you're going to be one of those anti-Mormons wearing a tank top in your Facebook profile picture. Weird thing to focus on since I'm not on Facebook much anymore, but whatever. Fast forward 2 years and I ask her what she thinks about tank top garments and if she would wear them with a sleeveless top. She smiles and says, yes, why not? My, how things have changed. And in what seemed to me a related post, let's go to LDS Wives Anonymous on Facebook, where someone said, my husband feels very strongly that having more than one set of earrings is wrong and bad. He basically made me take my seconds and my helix piercing out. He said if I keep them, then it will drive a wedge between our marriage, and if I take them out, then I'll just hate him and be angry. He tried comparing it to tithing, saying that he doesn't want to pay but does anyways. I tried telling him I can't think of anything I would be so controlling over him. He angrily says, do what you want, so I obviously don't feel peace. He doesn't understand that it's my body and my choice. My earrings should have no effect on my ability as a wife or mother. I can't think of anything to help him understand. Am I wrong? Is he wrong? I got my second piercing not long after I turned 18 and could sign the consent form myself. I think it was about 6 months later when Hinckley came out and said that one piercing was what the church wanted for women and no piercings for men, of course. And then it took me roughly another 6 months to take that piercing back out. I have since re-pierced that hole and then added 1 more in this ear and 2 more in this ear. I'm so glad that piercings aren't something that can drive a wedge in my marriage or keep me away from Jesus anymore. Next up is Latter-day Saint Mag, where it says, Elder Quentin L. Cook of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles closed the 2025 BYU Women's Conference on Friday, May 2nd, 2025. Hold on. Why in heaven's name is a man closing out a women's conference? Back to the article. Praising women who walk with Jesus Christ and have their hearts in tune with the music of faith, and as they progress on the covenant pathway. Our doctrine is clear. We are to be positive and of good cheer. We emphasize our faith, not our fears. We rejoice in the Lord's assurance that He will stand by us and give us guidance and direction. We are safe when we walk with Jesus, he said. And this, my friends, is a huge reason why studies that ask Latter-day Saint women if they are happy come out showing such high numbers of satisfaction. If a Latter-day Saint woman doesn't feel safe or happy, she can conclude that she is somehow not walking with Jesus. Addressing a capacity crowd in the Marriott Center on the campus of Brigham Young University in Provo, Utah, and more who watched the live stream online, Elder Cook reiterated his 2011 General Conference message that Latter-day Saint women are incredible. Nothing like a male general authority quoting himself at a women's conference. They are incredible because of the way they face the trials of life and their commitment not only to have faith in Jesus Christ, but also to walk with Him, he said. Despite the challenges and tests life has to offer, they remain remarkably strong and immovable and true to their faith in Jesus Christ and His church. And last up today, because it's my birthday, I'm going to share one of the funniest posts I've seen on the exmormon subreddit as of late. It says, new garment share. I have a very close friend who was able to get her hands on the new garment style, the sleeveless one. The women in the ward freaked out from excitement, and now they are sharing 2 pairs of garments for special occasions and pictures, of course. They are effing sharing their undergarments. There is an effing spreadsheet involved. It's funny, but it's also sad. Women of the church, just take the garments you already have and cut the sleeves off. They'll still have the markings in them. They will have still been made by the church, and they'll be modest because you can show your shoulders now. Last up today, let's finish with this great quote from religious.harm.recovery that says, if your parents are still indoctrinated in a high-control religion, they may not actually be capable of validating how their beliefs harmed you, because in order for them to even recognize that harm occurred, they'd need to have access to critical thinking in relation to their beliefs, something their indoctrination actively shuts down. And that's your update for today, folks. I absolutely hope you have the day that you deserve.